Good morning, everybody. My name is Chrissy, and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 8th of April. Now, I do regular updates just because the current energies can move a lot, as we know. So I'm just going to see what comes through today for the 8th of April. I'll just close my eyes and we'll just get started. I still get feelings and emotions are really rising up. This is going to be a really tumultuous month in April. I've said that before in my April reading. There's going to be a lot of shifts and a lot happening globally in April. Now, we may not understand everything that's going on because I know for a lot of you who are watching this video, we're very confused and muddled up. Now, I get that because that's how I feel. Often we question what is the truth, what's real, am I going crazy? That's another thing that goes through our minds a lot because we never actually seem to have that concrete evidence and that concrete proof of what is actually going on. It's all sort of hearsay. So this is what I'm getting in April. There might be something very concrete, fingers crossed, that comes out. I mean, we know we've got the Pfizer data, but for some reason, of course, that's not being shown on mainstream media and no one's actually hardly getting that information. People are trying to spread that information and let people know, but it's almost like people have put up the veil and they don't want to see it. So, I mean, you can understand if people have sort of chosen to go down the Kool-Aid road, they're going to be in denial that it has side effects, because if you've got that in your body, you're not going to want to know that there's like terrible adverse reactions, or that you put something in your system that could damage your immune system. So that's why that veil comes up over a lot of people. People are trying to be heard in April. Still getting this really scratchy throat. People are trying to use their voices now. They're trying to be heard. They're trying to speak out. People aren't silly. I think we've got to remember, if you're watching this video, you've got to remember that people aren't silly. There's a lot of educated people out there that have been caught up in this psychosis. And not just that being educated, you have to be awake, but when people have been asleep, they've missed the details and they've missed the information, because often we're only hearing what we're being told. We're not seeing the truth. We're not realizing what's going on. We're not looking at the outcomes. We're just hearing. It's like when somebody is actually in a coma. They're pretty much their main sense is hearing. And it's the same if somebody's dying as well and they feel like they're not with you anymore. They're only hearing, and that's what they say a lot. Always talk to them and hold their hand and things, because they can hear you. So it's a vibrational energy thing. So this is what's kind of been happening for these people that have been in the psychosis. They only were able to hear. So whatever they were being fed is all they could hear, and that's why it becomes that hypnotic effect, because it gets drummed into them. For example, don't go near the unvaccinated. Don't go near the unvaccinated. Don't go near anyone that's not jabbed, because you'll get the disease off them. So no logic, absolute zero logic, we know in that. But that was how they did it, with that trickery of the hearing sense. That's how a coma, mass psychosis rather, works. But if you think of a coma, that's the heightened sense. So that's all they're going to kind of pick up. They're not going to sort of, visual cues can work as well. But at the end of the day, it's what's gone into their thoughts and what they repetitively had drummed into them that has buried deep into their psyche and their subconscious mind. So this is what I'm getting in April. I'm definitely getting a lot of people are starting to see the planned agenda. I think what's happening is that this is... things are kind of in April getting the go ahead, and this is why I feel like a lot of people might start to wake up, because when the plan starts to be implemented and rolled out, it will trigger a response in a lot of people that is, hang on a minute, this might be really happening. All these conspiracies that people have been talking about for the last 2 years seem to be starting to roll out. And like I said, they're starting to ask a lot of questions. So the questions are definitely being asked in April. And the thing is, what happens when people start to search and they start to find information out, they realize there's kind of no answer because it's not adding up. The answer seems to be zero. Like, there is no kind of answer. Like, where is all this heading to? What's the answer to this equation? There actually isn't one, because, like I said to you, the leaders and the people rolling out the planned agenda are very, very smart and very, very clever at manipulation, and they're very good at redirecting people's thoughts and brain patterns. So you got to imagine they've got elites on their side helping them, elite IT people and people who are very masters of their craft helping them. And we know that because of the algorithms and the things that go on in our own Facebook feeds and things like this, that this is a huge issue, that you can direct somebody's thoughts. So this is what's kind of going on at the moment in April. I believe that this is what they're doing. And I said that they will regroup and then they will come up with other initiatives and ways to sort of integrate, rather, their plan into society. So they're very, very smart. So we have to give them credit for that, because they were on their path. And like I said in my video the other day about the traffic lights, where the freedom fighters are people standing up against tyranny, we're the ones pressing that pedestrian sign that keeps people walking across, and we're in their way. We're standing up too much, and we're stopping their agenda from going on that straight path and rolling out. They're having to take the detour now to get their agenda. Oh, they're still pushing through with it. Don't worry about that. But they're getting smarter. And this is what's definitely going on, because they're very clever at mind manipulation. So that's something I'm getting in April. People are starting to work things out. Oh, they're showing me pirates. When you think of pirates on a ship, sometimes when other pirates are bored, this is in the olden days, the swashbuckling days of pirates, when pirates would come aboard, you see like a pirate hanging on the net or whatever, he's holding on to the ropes, and he's fighting with his sword, like one-handed. This is a very common thing. And the other pirate will be having their sword, and they're going like this, and they're having this like sword fight on the old boat. And this is the visual that they're giving me, that this is now a real battle. So they're saying like, hang on. So hang on to that rope and keep battling, because this is going to happen in April. There is going to be a real battle in April. And we've got to kind of, what they're saying by us fighting with our sword as a pirate, we're on sort of stormy seas, like they're showing me like the boat's rocking, and everything's very unstable. And this is how April's going to kind of feel. It's going to feel unstable, but we're also fighting for our life. So we're fighting for our life, and we're sort of fighting one-handed. So it's like they have an unfair advantage. So you've got to really hang on now. And this is about your real, like your strength. When I think of the arm, I think of that muscle and how strong we are, like internally. That's the representation. We're on this old rickety ship, and the seas are really stormy, but we're still fighting off these evil pirates. And we're, fighting for our life. And this is what April represents to me. This is the fight of our life, the fight for our freedoms, the fight for our cause. And keep going. What it's saying is you have got that strength, but you just got to hold on. So the message, I guess, that they're really trying to get through to us is, even when things seem so difficult to overcome, and everything can seem like the big stormy seas that will just get thrown off the boat and into the water, or our throat cut and have no life. This is the message today: is hang on, hang on that bit longer and keep fighting. Don't give up. Because like the message again is what they're saying is eventually you'll come to the calmer waters. So you have to keep that image in your mind. Keep fighting, hang on, and eventually you will come to the calmer waters. So maybe May, June will come to a little bit of a calmer time. But April, I definitely get a lot of turbulence. There's a lot of fight back, a lot of turbulence. Ooh, there's a lot of hanging on. This takes a lot of patience, as we know. For anyone out there who's standing up against this tyranny and these dictatorships, it takes a lot of patience. It's not easy to fight these battles. I know you guys out there are having your moments as well. Gosh, my family thinks I'm completely mad and like obsessed. But the thing is that when you see something so differently to other people, it's very hard to stand by and just let it be. It doesn't sit right in you. And that's just, I'm sure if you're watching this video that's how you feel too. That's who we are. We can't stand by and just let all this unfold and just say nothing. It just wouldn't be right. And it's not that we are consumed by it, but we feel that urge inside of us that this is like our purpose. It's almost like our life purpose, that we've gone through our journey of life and we've kind of reached this point where we can make a difference. And I really feel like that's the end goal with a lot of us together, is that's our end goal, is to create movement, to create change, and of course, obviously, to get freedom back, which is what we're really fighting for, because we have to remember that people who haven't woken up, they don't even know this is going on. So they don't even think they're going to lose their freedom, because remember, they're living the false normal where they think they've got their freedom back. It's all trickery. It's smoke and mirrors. We know that. I'll see what else comes up today. So hang on to the ship and keep fighting with your sword. You're strong. You can do this. Gosh, I'm getting pilots are getting worried. Ooh, I'm not sure. Ooh, it could be around 5G. I do get that a lot of pilots are voicing their concern about either the 5G networks. It could be around heart issues, because we know that's happened. A few pilots have really struggled with that thrombosis and a few heart issues. But it could also be about the 5G networks, because we know that hasn't completely rolled out. Let me know down below if it's rolled out in your country and if you've noticed any changes in people or in anything disturbing happening. But maybe this is what they're talking about. They have real concerns about the 5G networks when they're switched on. Is that going to have an impact? A lot of them feel there could be a lot of issues. So I'm definitely getting a message about pilots are starting to talk out. They're starting to talk, speak out and talk up about their concerns. And I think that's going to be a problem that's going to happen globally. They're going to start to communicate together. And I think there's definitely something happening with the pilots, and they have real concern. And I do think it's probably about the 5G networking system. Because you think about it, this is a very large integrational kind of system that they're trying to implement. I was talking about the smart cities, I think, yesterday. We're putting in these smart rails down the east coast of Australia. But I'm presuming that would take a lot of extra power, and things would have to be... they make out smart cities are all, very ergonomic and it's all energy saving and efficient. But is it? We don't really know. As I said, we don't ever really know the truths. So I guess that's something that we've got to be aware of too. Like, what is this 5G network? What energy is that going to emit? And how's that going to have an effect on everything? So that's something I'm definitely getting, is something about the pilots have real concerns. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm getting the feeling that you're wanting to escape your life. Now, I get it. I feel like sometimes I could jump the fence and just run away and hide, because sometimes this just does feel like an insurmountable task, helping and guiding and planting seeds to wake people up. It's not easy when you're still looked at as a crazy person and a conspiracy theorist, but in your mind of mind, you are 100%, maybe 150% sure that the Great Reset is coming, and they have divided us for that reason. Now, this is why I'm feeling like it feels like we could just give up. It feels like we could just jump over the fence, not onto the other side. I'm not saying go onto the Kool-Aid side. I meant, we'll go this way. I mean jump the fence and just run away into some paddock, into the trees, and just have a normal life of freedom. And look, some of you out there might be doing that. I know I've got some people that watch that are very set up. They're looking to go and be off grid and grow their own food, and they're very resourceful. So some people might jump the fence that way and go and have their freedom, but it does get very exhausting, and it wanes on our mental strength. Sometimes it's hard to keep picking yourself up and thinking about the future, and maybe like that's the message today, is we do have to really bring ourselves back into the now moment. And that's something that I do talk about a lot. I've got videos on living in the now, learning to live in the now, if you want to go and check those out. Especially if you're new to my channel, I do have a lot of self-help videos. But what you've got to do is and I have to practice it myself, because my family goes, stop, you're over the top, and I do get told off a bit by my kids, is you've got to slow your thoughts down. So you've got to stop worrying about the past. So the things that have happened in the past, whether you've been hurt, vilified, we know it's still going on in so many countries, and you've also got to stop living in fear and anxiety about your future, because I always talk about it. Your energy pulls you towards what you think about. So if you're thinking about, oh, we're going to have no freedom, we're going to always be having to have green paths, we're going to get, your energy is going to start to pull you towards that. So you're going to build more anxiety, more fear, and your vibration will change. And that is how you get pulled into that narrative again. So if you're wanting to stay out of that fear, anxiety, and worry and concern, you've got to actually bring yourself back into the now moment. And that's what's so important in stopping those awful feelings from rising up in you, because it can happen just like that. And it can happen just out of the blue. Something might trigger it, something someone says, and you start worrying about your future. Because I know for me, like my sister sometimes says to me, well, you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to have a life because you chose that. But and that's the sort of thing that I'm sure you guys are getting out there. Well, that's your punishment because you chose that. And that's a very common thing. But that triggers me, and that triggers me into going down that road of fear, no freedom. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Anxiety, worrying. You can't do it. You have to put a stop to that, and you have to learn to live in the now moment. So I have also had to do that, because it's so hard when you're starting to rise up in those feelings to stop them. So it's easier if you can just bring yourself back into that now moment. So the way that you bring yourself, I'll give you a quick little lesson on that, because it took me a long time to learn to do it properly. You just let go of the past. So you put yourself here, wherever you're sitting now. I want you to do this. I want you to just sit in the chair, or you might be outside. Doesn't matter where you're sitting. Just bring yourself into this moment. So I want you to just look at me, hear my voice. I want you to just sense what's going on around you. So I want you to start, again, it's getting back to that living in those higher dimensions and that fifth dimension, and starting to use your senses. Listen to the sounds around you. Smell what's happening around you. Someone might be cooking breakfast in the house if you're overseas, or you might be having dinner. You might be smelling food. You might smell a beautiful flower or lavender out in the garden if you're outside. This is what you've got to do. This is how you do it. You bring yourself into the now by opening up your senses. Listen to what you hear. Don't judge it. Just a car's going past. There's a car going past. It is what it is. So that's how you bring yourself into that now moment. You focus on your breath. especially if you're suffering anxiety and panic attacks, which a lot of us have. It's very important that you learn to meditate, and not on a large scale. You can do it for a couple of minutes. Just meditation is just learning to slow down your breath, basically. So it's taking in those deep breaths through your nose and blowing out the sort of anxiety and the fears, and bringing yourself back into that calmer state. Now, the reason that you have to stop yourself going forward in your thoughts is because what happens is thoughts create your feelings. So if you're starting to move too far ahead, you start to say things like, oh, what if this happens? And what if this happens? Oh my gosh, I'm getting scared because what if that ends up happening? And how many times in life have we worried ourselves absolutely sick about things and then never even happened or come to fruition? So an example might be going for your driving test. When you're learning to drive, you get yourself that worked up. And look, you do get a bit nervous, but you go for your driving test, you get your license, and then that's all behind you. But for those 3 weeks, you've had yourself that worked up, and then you passed anyway. So that's just an example of why it's very important not to let those feelings come up and worry and get yourself overwhelmed about the future and where you're headed. And look, that's a big message for you guys today. I know it's very easy to get caught up in fear and worry and concern and anxiety. And look, I have to learn these things myself. I'm constantly having to bring my thoughts back because it's just too scary to even go there sometimes, isn't it? And that's why we have to stay in our right vibration, because it's our vibration that makes the difference. Like I said in my video about the blog, if you look that up, it's called the blog. The blog movement is growing, but we have to keep the vibration right, or it's not going to keep the momentum and keep moving. So maybe go and check out some of my videos on how to learn to live in the now. And I've also got a handful of meditation videos too. So if you're feeling really anxious and tight in the chest, just go do one of my meditation videos. That can just teach you how to do that breathing. They're very simple. They're only short. They're like 5 minutes or something like that. So when you do feel those sort of awful, uncomfortable feelings rising in you, just learn how to deal with them. It's about forgetting about the past and not worrying about the future, and bringing yourself into this now moment and opening up your senses and enjoying your life. Life is still here to be lived. You know, we don't know what's going to happen when we walk down the street today. We're going to be hit by a bus, and we've had all this worry and fear for nothing. So we might as well enjoy every single moment while they're here. And look, that's the big message today that I'm getting from the guides, is please enjoy your life. Go and do something that you really enjoy. I know I've got some people out there, Martin, who enjoy having their coffee. I enjoy having my coffee. I know a lot of you plug in and you share your experiences with me, and that's what fulfills me as well. So I'm in the now moment, and when I shoot a video, I'm here with you. I'm nowhere else. So know that out there, that I am nowhere else but here with you and putting my energy onto this video. And that's what we've sort of really got to take from this message today, is no more worrying about the future, freaking out about the past and what's happened. We've got to let all that go now, and we've got to be present, and we've got to allow our vibration and energy to come up, because that's how we're going to make a difference. And I really feel in April that that's very, very important. I talked a few videos ago about really taking care of your health and staying strong. And I had a massage, for example, yesterday, and it felt really good. I was really tense and sore in the muscles. Do this kind of thing. You know, do whatever it takes to nurture yourself. And like I said, to stay strong so you can hang on for the fight and the battle of that, you know, the pirate. We're on turbulent, stormy seas. I think we all know that. But the ship hasn't tipped over yet, and we're not, it's not man overboard yet. We're still fighting. So that's the image and the message I'm going to leave you with today. Stay strong, look after yourself, and keep fighting. April's going to be a very interesting month. Woo! Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Don't forget to leave me comments. Let me know what's happening where you are. Subscribe to my channel. Hit those like buttons, of course, because that helps my algorithms and gets all these messages out. And I will see you in that next video. Bye from Australia. Take care, everyone.